So, in the previous recording, I was talking about like experience with my coach and how I was like a complete fraud in front of him. And now that I think about it, what were my other training experiences were like absent my coach? And I mean not really absent my coach, but more like just training in general. Hold on, I see balloon zombies and prospector. I can work with this. Split P goes so hard on this actually. I just need a way to block things off, I guess. This is so valid. Trust me on this, guys. Yeah. Anyways, so one of the earliest memories I have of training is that we did it face to face. Our first time training, like ever, completely. It occurred completely face to face, and the way that happened then is that like we were assigned to be a judge or a debater, and in my very first time training, by the way, I got assigned to be a judge for some reason. And I'm pretty sure that was randomly assigned, but what ended up happening there is that I listened to the round and I thought, okay, it's a bit confusing right now. I'm unsure how to process this information. And well, I have my coaches to tell me what to say, or at least guide me through the deliberation process. And I was so shocked because my first time having a deliberation with my in a debate entirely, what ended up happening is that my coaches told me, okay, who do you think won the round? And I'm like, hold up, I need to think of this already. I was genuinely just planning on asking, like, okay, how do we determine who wins the round? Turns out you're supposed to already have a verdict in mind, and that was something I didn't know. I it never crossed my mind that I should have a verdict already. And that was always so interesting to me because I thought that deliberation was to determine the victor. But I think a better way to describe deliberation in this scenario then is how do you clarify things? How do you clear up what happened in the round and how do you clear up what you want to talk about? What do you want to justify in your decision? Just try to get that into an agreement. And I think that's what makes judging beautiful, really. That like it's really trying to figure out how do you rationalize or at least explain your decision and just trying to discuss that with your panel. That's something that I never really got to appreciate until recently. And honestly, at the time, I was just confused, really. And you know what? It's not a big deal. I think that I had a interesting experience definitely because I know for a fact that most people did not start their first debate experience as a judge. I know that for a fact because I was there in the training and I was the only person who got assigned judge as as their first time. So yeah, I was the only student there that was acting as a judge for the first round. I mean, later on there were other people, but when it comes to first time, that was me. And when it comes to me fumbling in front of my coach, I mean, yeah, it's a bit unavoidable sometimes. But what I found interesting was that if I look back onto what happened in those training rounds, for some odd reason, I actually had the best performance in terms of scoring. Hold on, I'll focus on those zombies later. Because what I noticed is that compared to everyone else's scores, I for some reason actually had a good score. Not really good score, but if you compared it to everyone else, I actually had the highest score uh, overall. Not only in the first training day, but even the second training day. Like if you average that, I had the best score. And I think that got my hopes up that like, okay, hold on. I might be pretty good at this. This is something that I can function well on. And we entered our first tournament a few weeks afterward. And I somehow broke. And by broke, I mean I qualified for the finals rounds. And honestly, I didn't expect that to happen, but well, I'll talk about the specifics next time. It's just that, yeah, I ended up qualifying for that round. No, wait, I'm just gonna do 2 levels in this recording. That's fine then. Anyways, that first tournament was Sled Up 2024, I believe. And yeah, South Luzon Interdebate Experience. And what happened there is that I really love saying that, huh? I really love saying that. Anyways, the experience there is that we did qualify for the finals round, my team, but a few weeks later they would release the scores of everybody, and I was expecting like, okay, I'm gonna get a good score. I want to see how I fared against my teammates, how I fared against the other team that my school sent, and hold on, I actually want to decide what plants I'm gonna use for this. Potato, chili bean might not be that. That's a new enemy. Hold on, what? I'm seeing tiles. This is high key valid. What? Don't lose. Oh! Oh, okay. Okay, don't lose more than 22. Hold on, might have to rethink about this. Short guard might be kinda cool. Yeah, it is cool. Let's try. Anyways, I wanted to check what score I got, and honestly, I just wanted to like validate myself and say that like, hey, I performed well. Hey, I want to flex this off to other people. But what ended up? Hold on, I want to say something else in that. What's another way to say it? Oh, hold on. What the hell? What's that gonna do? Oh, oh, hell nah, hell nah. Anyways, I decided to check the scores, and compared to my teammates, I had the lowest score. I was like, damn. And honestly, that kinda hurt because I was the third speaker at the time, and what I heard is that the first speaker is kind of the sacrificial lamb. So seeing that I ended up performing pretty badly compared to my first speaker, like the point difference was night and day. I was like, nah, I messed up that badly. I was so surprised, and I was like, okay, let's see how I did well against the others team, and my team was the only one that qualified for the day two, the finals rounds. Meanwhile, the other team wasn't able to qualify. But holy, our other team just had better scores entirely. And that was the moment I felt like I'm a complete fraud. Like, I performed so well in training, but now that I'm in the actual competition, why am I underperforming compared to everyone else? I felt like I did the best in the training. Why can't I be the best here in the competition itself? And hold on, I actually want to decide what plants I'm gonna use here. Maybe not shard guard actually. I want something to counter that like dove user. I mean, there's nothing wrong with hitting up the chili bean. Yes, I'm certain. Anyways, this feeling of inferiority definitely hit me for a while, but I never let it bother me too much. I acknowledge that like yeah, they're better than me, but the only thing I can do about other people being better than me is that I'm just gonna do better than them in the future. That's always the mindset that I had. And to be honest, it was kind of hard to keep following up with that mindset because for a very long time, I genuinely was, compared to my other schoolmates, I was actually pretty terrible. Like, I had this one schoolmate, and she's completely amazing at the sport. Like, genuinely, the respect everyone has for her is at the top. She was genuinely the star of our like school, and I always felt like I was one step behind her because I could never make myself outperform her. Like every single training that we had, after that first few training rounds, I always underperformed compared to her. Or at least, even if I did well, I always saw that like, hold up, she's straight up just doing better than me, like 1 point better or like that. And like I'm gonna see that that 1 point is night and day difference because compared to everyone else it's just a marginal difference like 0.25 0.1, but with her it's a straight up entire point, and I'm like, how do I even reconcile this? Because I just couldn't. I really didn't know what I could do about it. Hold on. Hell no, that did not happen. Whew. This damn bull. Is that gonna kill the pumpkin instantly? Oh hell no, mistargeted. Oh, Chopper is crazy. Hold on. I wanna win this. I guess I'm not winning that. Oh well. Does it just ignore the pool? Or does it get stuck? Never mind, I guess that happens. What the hell? How that bucket did get there? Nah, I'm low-key cooked. Low-key! High-key actually. Very high-key cooked. But yeah, in the upcoming competitions that I had, I always underperformed in comparison to that other person. And it didn't really hurt my confidence, but I definitely felt like I needed to make up for it. Like, I couldn't just stand being inferior. Because compared to them, I was the person who was like a lot more active, as a person seeking out training much more. And I was like, the fact that I'm not doing as well as them, I feel like I feel like all my training, it's not, it's not making sense. Why am I doing worse than them? And that experience just, oh my god, that experience of feeling inferior, it kind of demotivated me some days. Like it would hurt me for a day, but on other days I would think to myself, "Hey, you know what? I I still want to try. I still want to do better, and maybe in the next competition I will do better." But it's kind of funny that that day really never arrived for me. Hold on, I wanna change up my loadout because those imps are a problem, and I need something much more spammable. But it's actually, I need splash damage. Maybe not Wasabi Whip either. The bullet is just a big problem. What am I supposed to do against that? Anyways, yeah, that inferiority is there. And I think I'll just think about other tournaments at other point. But yeah, that's all I